So when you look back at the tape, just what impressed you about Jackson's first start?
I thought Jackson did a nice job. He was really confident. He was poised. I thought he controlled the line of scrimmage. I thought he handled the tempo really well, and then just kind of getting through the ebbs and flow of the game. If something happened, adjusting on the sideline, the communication with the players, and it was back and forth. It was really good to see, the O-line come up to him, the receivers, the running backs, tight ends, and that dialogue be really good on the sideline. So that was a really cool thing to see.
You alluded to it last week. When you guys are going up tempo like that, and he's at the line before the 15 seconds, are you still, beyond the play call, you giving him like, hey, watch this, watch that?
Yeah, you're able to talk to him as much as you can. So I try to give him as much information. If I see any keys or anything something to alert him to, I'll try to keep my eyes downfield on that and help him out as best I can.
Like from a play calling standpoint, you have, 10, 13 plays a game where Malik Neighbors gets targeted. What happens now without Neighbors? Do you spread those around? Do you, become less pass-oriented? What happens without Neighbors?
Yeah, Coach Groh does an awesome job of getting the guys prepared. So it's really just a next man up mentality, whether it's Bo, Jalen, again, the roster moves as we get moving if there's a guy coming up or not. But I think those guys just step up into their roles, Wandell, Slade, the leaders that they are, and continue to kind of carry the torch, because I think, we have some explosive guys in that room. And so I think, the more the ball can get spread out to those guys, the better.
One of those guys you just mentioned, Jalen. Jalen, his rookie year, the last time you were calling plays, he was a factor. He had 23 catches, 372, I think, and he hasn't really done much since then. How do you get him more involved? Do you think he can get back to that level and beyond that he was at then? Because we haven't seen it in a long time.
Yeah, I think very highly of Jalen, and he's done a great job in practice. Whether or not that, the game, how the game kind of declares itself, I think that'll be, we'll see how that goes.
Just moving forward.
Yeah, moving forward. I mean, Jalen's doing everything we're asking him to do. He's having a great week of practice so far, getting himself involved in the game plan and understanding what his role is going to be. And that role will change every week. So, if he has an opportunity, though, downfield to make a play in space, I expect him to do that, and I know he will because he's prepping his butt off.
What are the challenges for Jaxson now, and maybe for you as the play caller too, that you've put out a game's worth of film for defenses to bite into that?
The thing that I think we want to talk about just in the quarterback room is, especially with Jaxson, is all right, that was a good learning experience. You can always kind of build on that. The good, the not so good, you can learn from those situations. So as we're going through the week and learning from, this is what happened during the game, this is what happened during the practice of last week, now we can start pulling from those experiences a little bit. And that's just going to help really any player, but especially a young player like Jaxson, where, now he's starting to bank game reps. He's starting to bank different looks from defenses. He's starting to see, the stuff on tape carry over onto the field. And so I think it's just he's kind of creating this bigger picture for himself in terms of, I've seen that before. I've seen that body language. So now he's banking those experiences, and now it's one thing to describe it, as a coach, but once you actually are in there and you feel it and you see it, it triggers just a different type of response. So it's been cool to watch him kind of go through that series of events.
Where do you stand on just his running and his scrambling ability? Obviously, he's got powerful legs, but in terms of being maybe too reckless at times or just the decision making on
it's the age-old question of the running quarterbacks. And we had it when I was with Patrick, even with Daniel, and his ability to run and just protecting yourself. I think, even myself when I played, you don't really know till you get hit. Once you get hit, you kind of learn a little bit from that. But Jackson's he's a tough player. He's competitive, and you don't want to take that away from him. I think you see it across the league with the guys, and I think just got to be smart. There's a time when you want to slide and get down. There's a time where you got to go get that yard. We put him in a couple situations on short yardage where hey, it's you one-on-one. This is where the numbers end up. Make a play for us, and he did. And I think there's a time and a place for that. Is it every play? I don't know, but I think there's you got to be smart in certain situations. If you're in the open field, you got the easy yard, take one hit off of yourself. But again, I don't want to put the players in a box at all. So it's just a smart balance that we got to work through, and that'll only come with time and experience.
Mike, do you have to dig a little bit deeper into the playbook just in terms of trying to scheme guys open without Malik, trying to find opportunities for guys to get plays?
I think I have a lot of trust in our skill group across the board. As to do our due diligence as a coaching staff and scheme guys open, that's what you want to look to try and do is get, make it easy for the quarterback and have a guy wide open. But, our guys, I trust our guys to go and win versus aggressive man coverage. We practice against it. We work against it. I trust those guys to go work.
You have to pay Andy Reid, Mahomes, and Kelsey a fee for stealing that shovel pass that Theo Johnson.
No, that was a good design, man. Carm, TK, our run game division, Liddell, those guys put together a good plan. That was a nice play.
This was the second time Jaxson had to be taken out of a game for a concussion test that he passed that didn't have a concussion. Is there anything you can do as a coach to kind of coach him around, like how his body language is after he gets up?
We talked about it, but I don't know how much I can do about it. It's just they got the professionals up there that are looking for it. I know it's a point of emphasis, and it's probably the right thing to do, just for the player, just to make sure he's healthy, make sure he's right. Obviously, you'd never want to lose a quarterback for, however many plays, but I think it's the right thing to do. It's kind of out of our hands. It's just the nature of how it is right now, but I think it's smart for the league to do that and protect the quarterbacks. But, don't walk up, shaking your head and all that stuff. Like they're probably going to get taken out, so.
Mike, Sunday was Andrew's first full game in a long time.
Yeah.
Does he look like the player that you remember from 2022, the last time he was still, he was fully healthy? Does he look like that guy?
I'm really proud of AT. The first game only had a limited snap count, 20-something plays. Then he comes out the very next week and plays however many, 70-something plays. It was just a gritty effort by one of our captains, one of our leaders in the room, and I was really proud of him for doing that for us. But he looked like his normal self. I'm sure as he's getting into the groove of it, I'm sure he'll start to feel better about it. But to me, I love having him out there. He was certainly a calming presence on the sideline. His demeanor and then the way he played, I thought was, at the level that we expect him to play, high level.
What challenges do the Saints present on defense? It seemed like they gave Josh Allen and the Bills a hard time last week.
Yeah, really all their games it's come down to like the 2-minute drill minus Seattle, where a couple things kind of got out of hand. But I think this is a veteran defense. They've played together for a long time. They got their defensive coordinator, Coach Staley, is a hell of a coach. We have these guys prepared. They're aggressive. They're at home too, so they'll have crowd noise working for them. But these guys fly around. They're savvy. Some guys on the defensive end that are really, really good. The back end, they have physical, tall, long guy, have length. So and they present a mix of coverages and fronts that you got to be prepared for. So we got a big time challenge ahead of us. But I'm excited to get to work on it today.
Mike, does it look like a Staley defense already? Because he hasn't been there a whole lot since February.
Yeah, certainly familiar from my time in Kansas City with him, and when he was in LA for those years. So there's definitely some carryover that you see. Different personnel, which what a good coach does is he molds it to the personnel that he has. So a little bit different than what he had with the Chargers that he has now, but I still see a lot of the same, points of reference from that scheme and showing up, but he's just putting different guys in different spots.